Okay, welcome back. Last time we completed the second part of the additional scenario, and today we're beginning the final part of it. I say beginning of the final part because it'll be 3 or 4 episodes most likely, as we enter the final chapter, Persona 2, Gone Without a Trace, the Velvet Room, a few days ago. I see. So that is what happened. Is there anything you can do for her? I regret to say that this falls out of my area of expertise. It is possible for me to return the demon dwelling in her body to the collective unconsciousness, but I'm afraid I'm unable to call back Mistress Miyashiro's consciousness. If her soul was still at the stage of persona if her soul were still at the stage of persona possession, like the Joker uses, then I would still be able to do something for her. But alas, Mistress Miyashiro's psyche has been completely severed from her body. Most likely, when her ego was switched with the demon, it was scattered across a realm in the collective unconsciousness known as the Kadath Mandala. Kadath? It's the realm where the archetypes of personas and demons slumber, one level shallower than the abyss where my master and the crawling chaos reside. Your persona, which acts as your other self, also hails from Kadath, Master Suo. If I said it was the place where the images of legends and gods within everyone else dwells, would that make it easier to understand? Once upon a time, the persona users of Yore, who mastered the power of dreaming and could personally visit that world, called it the Dreamlands. The Dreamlands. If I go there, can I do something for her? Please tell me, Igor. I want to save her. There are a surprising number of definitions needed for a human to be who she is. She needs to be cognizant of the physical world, have the perception, knowledge, and memories to separate her from others. She needs the drive and emotions, the wisdom and perseverance to acknowledge her inner world. Even that which one suppresses and keeps hidden, and would prefer not to admit, those are still vital defense mechanisms that protect one ego. Either you could head to Kadath and gather all these psychic memories that make Mistress Miyashiro who she is, or... Got it. How do I get to that Kadath place? If Master Philemon were the crawling chaos, your sworn enemy, he would no doubt open the gate to Kadath immediately. Right now, my master's power is waning. With the masses steeped in shadows, it is the crawling chaos who has the power to open that door for you. My master cannot grant your wish for an invitation to the Mandala. Earlier you said that there were some people who could go to the world of collective unconsciousness by themselves, right? How do I make myself like that? As a persona user, you are in possession of immense talent. Practice enough under the tutelage of a skilled master, and you will no doubt become able to visit the depths of your psyche within your own dream. Mistress Maki Sonomura, for example, is halfway there herself. However, that requires time, during which Mistress Miyashiro's shattered psyche would dissolve and vanish into the collective unconsciousness. Isn't there any other way? There's but one human being who possesses a key that can physically open the ultimate gate, which divides the waking and the dreaming world. Allow me to introduce you to the legendary persona user, Swami Chandraputra. With the silver key that the Swami possesses, you could surely open the door to the abyssal Kadath. However, a search through the unconsciousness is a highly dangerous journey. Kadath is a world protected by gods and demons, as well as my master and the crawling chaos. In the mind of one who travels through there is constantly exposed to danger. If you let your guard down, you will be possessed by the demon you try to supplant, and no doubt end up the same as Mistress Miyashiro. Doesn't matter. Understood. However, the Swami is a busy traveller of space-time. It will take some time until I can contact him. Please, come again later. You may leave her a body in my care. I shall take responsibility for it. Velvet Room. Present day, present time. Wow, I see, huh. So you were doing that all on your own, Tatsuya? I had no idea you'd come to live at Miyashiro's place. Of course, earlier we didn't have much of a chance to talk at all. It was like you were trying to avoid us. Think, she had a connection with Father and with us. You must have suffered greatly over Pseudo, just like we did. So, this person is Chantra Mantra-san? We meet for the first time. Your mysterious quest is known to me. I learned of it in India. I am called Swami Chandraputra. I am afraid I suffer from a somewhat unsightly disease. Please forgive me for visiting you in such a guise. Ayoshiori-san. Sorry, Maya, but I'm off. You're unbelievable. Why do you try to take care of every single thing by yourself? No kidding. You got business you gotta settle over here. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do if you go alone and never come back? I don't intend on losing. I'll come back. I swear. So it's your sense of responsibility. Pretty short-sighted. You can't take responsibility if you're dead. This isn't just your problem anymore. I'm going too. Is that alright, Maya? Maya just nodded her head and said, of course. That's the deal. So, could you send us on our way, Imantra-san? Chop chop! Understood. However, in exchange, I have a request for you. I want you to also search for the fragment of my psyche. I want you to also search for the fragment of the psyche of my disciple, Randolph Carter, which was stolen by the crawling chaos. May I ask for your assistance? Maya just nodded her head and said, leave everything up to me. Well then, I shall open for you the ultimate gate which leads to Kadath. Swami Chandraputra produced a roughly 15cm silver key he covered in an arabesque design from his breast pocket. The Swami chanted a strange spell while turning the key around in the air 9 times, and in the darkness a gap materialized, around which swirled a silvery hue. Now go, pass through the ultimate gate and you shall arrive at Kadath. For various reasons I cannot accompany you, but my friend shall come to be your guide. Maya and everyone else passed through the ultimate gate and departed for Kadath. At the centre of the tower, which resembled Philemon's space, there stood an Abyssinian-like cat with a tail longer than its torso. Both the cat and their tail stood erect. Platoon, 10 huts! It talked! Wait, why say that now? We've talked to butterflies and made contact with demons and stuff. It looks like an Abyssinian. It's so cute. Hey, watch it. That looks like some kind of big shot cat. I'm Lieutenant General Zula of the Ulfar Cat Army. Carter has enlightened me about your situation. Because I'm experienced with the unconscious world and you are not, I will graciously act as your guide. Carter? Maya and Tatsuya exchanged a glance. Salute if you understand. Be grateful, humans, and salute! Out of conditioned reflex, Tatsuya saluted. Zula returned it beautifully. Lieutenant General, what is this Ulfar? A most hallowed land in the middle of the collective unconsciousness, and the front lines of our war. Our cat tribe battles the abominable Zoog tribe there. It's not helpful for you to worry about. It's of no concern to your campaign at this time. Salute if you understand. Be grateful, humans, and salute! Tatsuya again reflexively saluted. Zula once again returned it splendidly. Where are the shards of Shiori-san's psyche? No need to rush. From this time on, you will search for the fractured pieces of the psyche that constitute Shiori Miyashiro. her perception of the world around her, the manner in which she discerns reality, and how she delineates her experiences from those around her. Perception, knowledge, memory. The matrix of her inner world which allows her to acknowledge herself and form a cohesive inwards identity. Perseverance, emotion, drive, wisdom, will. Finally, there is the way in which she integrates her perception of the outside world and the inner self that she has acknowledged. Her management of her own balance with society, reason, ethics, and what is her complex, reflection. Fail to obtain all 11 of these fragments, called trapezohedrons, and Shiori Miyashiro will be unable to exist as herself. This is gonna be some backbreaking labor, huh? Each of these trapezohedrons has been found and claimed by a demon who now rules over them. You must retrieve them, either through bloodshed or negotiation. This place, called the Kadath Mandala, is constructed in the shape of a hexagram, containing an older pentagram emblem. The hexagram represents the vast macrocosm of space, and the pentagram is the symbol of the microcosm known as humanity. You will find the demons at the towers of each star point. Should you lose yourself in Kadath, head for the point of the star. Do you comprehend? Maya nodded and said she understood the gist of it. I hope you realize that the demons in possession of these trapezohedrons, which surmise the psyche, are far more powerful than yourselves. Similarly, though, I'm certain you know how to do this. To take care to carve these memories without disrupting ones you had before. If you fail to do this, I will not be held responsible. Okay. Oh, very good. Now you'll face your first obstacle immediately. Observe my tail. The hair on Zula's tail stood on end, fluffing up like a scrubbing brush. Maya, get back! It's huge. Something's coming. From above, everyone felt a presence that seemed like space itself was pressing against them. This is... You've been found by the Guardian of the Ultimate Gate, Umar Tawil, an avatar of the All-in-One and One-in-All, who is limitless both in self and being. He may have allowed Kata to pass through, but I imagine he's disinclined to overlook you lot. We just got here and it's already ultra dangerous? It is naturally incredibly dangerous. This fellow personifies the very boundaries of worlds. Though some might attempt to sneak around and behind his back, there are none who can challenge him. Those who try to enter the unconscious world by trespassing through the Ultimate Gate are usually flung to some distant world by him, never to return. In all likelihood, some of you will die here, if not all of you. In any case, I shall pray for your victory. Zula leapt away and vanished. Okay. Off we go. Immediately we got a boss fight. Which is just a recolored Shogoth, I guess. So I assume it's weak. Okay, given how it worked previously... I'm going to assume that it's... Given how it's worked previously, I'm going to assume it's weak to physical attacks. Nope. It's magic. It nulls all physical attacks. Okay. So let's just hit them with, I guess, a little bit of everything. See what we can do. Because realistically, hey, if we can hit them with a range, that kind of narrows down what we can potentially hit them with. And I'll switch to Artemis, sure, why not, and go for Bufudine as well. I probably should have just gone for Absolute Zero, but whatever. Okay, it's weak to wind. However, Asteroid Bomb does a lot of damage. Would quite like to avoid that if I can. Okay. So I'm going to put Maya immediately back on using Nana. Because now I should be able to cast Kamatai... Dragonflight. Dragonflight is the play, actually. And yeah, sure, let's go for Blazing Burst as well. And yeah, we should be okay from here, I think. Oh, Asteroid Bomb did a lot more than I thought it would. Okay, let's have Ulala switched using Izanami. Switch to using Izanami. Then I switch Maya to using Baal, and I cast Rakam on Tatsuya, right? So I do this, cast Rakam, now it's Tatsuya's move, and I switch Maya back to using Nana, and I switch Tatsuya to using Baal, and now I cast Rakam on Biofu, and now Izanami, now I use Ulala's turn to cast Heartfelt Prayer, and we should be back in business. Because now we also heal a fair bit. We also got a little bit of damage out with a Zeodyne. Nothing wrong with a little bit of Zeodyne damage. Big fan of Zeodyne, to be totally honest. It is a move that I'm rather fond of. So now, let's go for that, I suppose. And I'll have Tatsuya stick around and use Mediarama, I think. And I guess that's probably the best I can do. Okay, it just did a regular old attack, which is great for me because it means I don't need to worry quite as much. However, obviously, given the nature of what's this thing called again? Buddy, what are you called? Umar at Tawil. Given the nature of, just what it is, yeah, it is going to take a bit of a beating to bring down. So let's quickly switch over. Actually, hold on. Better idea. Way better idea. I'll have... Okay. Yeah, Ulala switches over to Izanami. Tatsuya switches to Hastur. That's the wrong button. And now, I move Baofu to using Prometheus, so I can cast Mamakakaja to boost up my magic attack. And then, yeah, sure, then I can just go for Kamataichi with the others, and we should do a ton of damage here. So we get magic boost for everyone, and now Kamataichi should hit for, assumably, a ton of wind damage. And then I can just use Dragon Flight with Maya and Tatsuya next turn, because they should have the highest dexterity. 2282 is pretty respectable damage. That was not what I wanted to happen. Counter 10 got a great time for the controller to disconnect for just a second, so I lost control of being able to do whatever I felt like. And you know what? Sure, why not? When in doubt, call in the meltdown. It just did a regular old attack. That was actually a pretty cool animation, credit to it. Okay, so now we hit them with Dragon Flight. Also, I should note, whatchamacallit, the cat guy, he did say, hey, yeah, you can negotiate your way through these. You can negotiate with some of these bosses. So I will probably end up not having to fight all of them. I'll have to fight most of them, but I won't have to fight absolutely all of them, which will probably be quite beneficial to me, because I know my luck, I will find some way to mess it up. I tend to do so. And by that I mean I will probably find some shenanigans and fail in some way. But hey, we win. And we got 10,000 experience. After Umaat Tawil vanished, the shining light itself floated there. Near it, Zula leapt out back in as if they'd slipped through space. Good. They've been dispersed. In recognition of your achievement, I salute you. Is that a piece of her psyche? Indeed. This is her trapezohedron of knowledge. Look inside. When he peeked in, various letters, words, formulas, and information gathered, scattered apart and floated in a spiral as if they were beads inside a kaleidoscope, changing moment by moment. Just as soon as my controller wants to come back on. Game, please work with me. There we go. Well now, we have no time to dawdle about. When Umaat Tawil returns, his power shall exceed what you previously knew. Let's finish up our work here. Ah, it's not dead? As I told you, he is the boundary. Were he not here, nothing would separate the collective unconsciousness and your human knowledge, and you would cease to exist as individuals. Now, you shall travel through Kadath in search of the next trapezohedron. Move, move, move! Maya and the others obtained 200 world cards. Okay? So Maya and the others obtained Shiori's trapezohedron of knowledge and left the Tower of Knowledge behind. So, basically, what you're going to see in here is, as I make my way through here, well, as you go through, you will Oh, there's a store here. Cool. I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised. I've played this multiple times, and I guess I just forgot that there was one here. But yeah, basically, as you go through, when you clear each tower, depending on how you deal with it, you'll get just a whole bunch of cards, which is quite nice. And also, I don't need to worry about filling out a full map for this place, which is also quite nice. I have to double specify this because I remember that there's one bit quite far in, I think. I'm pretty sure it's quite far in. That's why I hadn't been seeing any enemies. And there's a bit that's just a complete maze of doors. And I remember that being very frustrating to deal with, as you can probably imagine. And I guess I'd go for Dark Verdict on whatever survives. And yeah, we're probably good to go. And then we can just go for... You know what, yeah, sure, why not? I'll cast Twinkle Nebula. Either way, Meltdown probably just annihilates them all. Oh, that worked. 10 out of 10, let's go. Okay, so it said there was 11 shards to find. It said there was 11 shards to get. I'll probably do 2 in this one. Then I'll try to get the next 5 and then 4, I suppose. However, there are also other things that I need to try to find in here. Or at least I assume there are. I think there's probably items in here somewhere. I'd like to believe there are. Anyway. Also, obviously, some of these towers might take a bit longer, might take a little bit less time. This all comes down to one thing. Do I negotiate well? If I negotiate badly, I have to fight. And if I have to fight, I have to win. Because, obviously. Anyway, I should probably just wipe all these out very quickly. Bane Splash will take out 2 cows, if nothing else. It feels weird talking about the enemy that very clearly looks like a bird and calling it cow, but hey, here we are. And hey, you know what? If nothing else, we'll definitely be at least level 70 by the time we get to the end here. Oh, hi, Virochana. How are you doing, buddy? In the middle of the tower, there sat a great one, shining like the sun. The world within me sits on the lotus. The vision of space is me, the Holy One. I am thou. Thou art Virochana. And so I ask thee, what is thine Atman, thine true self? Dost thou affirm or deny either thou within thyself is thou? Salute! This great one is the king of the Asuras, beings antagonistic to the Hindu gods. Well now, what is your answer? The ancient Upanishads. That's the foundation of Indian philosophy. What? I'm right here thinking about it, so that probably means I'm here. Maybe, I think. So wait, what am I? What a load of shit. Of course I exist. I wonder, you could also say that an egotistic adherence to the self breeds suffering. This is a question of our attitudes towards ourselves. Dost thou affirm or deny that the thou within thyself is thou? There's definitely a self called me. I. Thy reflection on the water's surface, that is thy Brahman, the truth of the universe, which in turn, thine Atman. Thou thyself art the universe, and thine self is itself the light that illuminates the soul. I shall support thy search for truth, and award thee the radiance of thy companion which binds her world within the world within to the world without. Thou must not forget the truth of thy oneness with Brahman. The Great One vanished. I and the others obtained 200 Sun cards. And with that, we have the Trapezahedron of Reason, and leave the Tower of Reason behind. And as you can see, we are now in a bit of a different place, because the floor has changed colour. Basically though, I don't think there's any, like, hidden items or anything to find in here. I'm pretty sure it's just, hey, kinda, you know, navigate your way through until you reach the end, at which point you'll find the kind of tower of each one, and then through each tower you go and you get everything dealt with. And then at the end you fight one big boss, and then you should be okay. Okay, 10 out of 10, even in the depths of the human consciousness, well, in the depths of the collective unconsciousness, I guess, we can still negotiate with demons the same way we always could. Also, I'm relatively confident. I have to say relatively confident because I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure that in here that there's no, like, pickup items. So, in theory, I could just throw on the golden honey. In theory, I could just throw on the golden honey and just run through everywhere, negotiate with all the bosses, and get through here very quickly. However, I'm just going to answer the questions the way that I think makes kind of the most sense. Or at least, I guess, given my thought process. Basically, though, I'm going to probably end up having to fight a good few of these bosses. Which, honestly, is probably a good thing, because one, it means I get more experience. Two, it means I probably don't have to do as much grinding, because I've made the final fight with Nyarlathotep way harder. Because I intentionally made all the wrong choices, and have therefore made the final boss fight a lot harder. So hopefully I can, you know, get through a whole bunch of fights here, and that'll make it a little bit less of a daunting task, let's just say. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit worried about trying to fight Nyarlathotep. But hey, you know what? We'll get there, and I will shenanigans my way to victory. I'll shenanigans my way to victory if I have to. It's something that I'm strangely good at. I need to go back here and down. And that's another block path. Okay. A lot of blocked paths around here. So, what if I've gone the wrong way. Oh, also, as you can tell by the enemies that I'm seeing here, these are the enemies that I'm finding kind of at the end. Like, these are the enemies that I'm also finding at the end of the Monad Mandala. Like, these are the enemies that I'm finding at the end of the Monad Mandala as well. So these are basically the enemies that I'm going to be seeing for the rest of the game. I'm relatively certain that there aren't any, like, special, unique, random encounters in here. Obviously, the bosses will be unique. Bosses will be unique, especially a couple of them as we get further in. There's a couple that are just straight up, you will never see them anywhere else in the game. And because, well, these are unique new ones, because this entire scenario was added with the PSP re-release. So if you were playing the original release of the game, this just wouldn't be here. Okay, cool, now I got a stat boost, which is quite nice, and Baofu is like one fight away from hitting level 68, which is also quite nice. Is this where I came in from? This looks like it might be where I came in from. So what if I just run back this way? I go across 1, I go across 2, I go across... Is this where I need to be? I'm gonna run from this one, because fighting a mix of enemies that's like, hey, these ones reflect physical attacks, these ones reflect magic. That kind of just a bit annoying. In every time they ever turn up. Okay, this is the path, I think. Is this the path? I think I've found the path. Let's go! Okay, sorry Vasuki, but you... Meltdown. Meltdown, kill. Meltdown, destroy. Okay, 10 out of 10, that just works. I love it when it just works. I probably should have paid more attention to what Baofu had. Yeah, because his luck is still going up. I think I want to give him a boost to dexterity now that I'm at the end, but I don't really know. Anyway, let's just cast Mediarahan and get ourselves prepped for this. Get myself prepped for this fight, because this is going to be a boss fight, no doubt, because I'm going to mess this up, probably. In the center of the tower, a great being sits in the shining moonlight. I am Sakya, one awakened from Maya, if the reality is an illusion bound by Jiva. Let us preach enlightenment together, so as to release living beings from their spiritual bondage. The woman who bears the same name as my mother and the illusion that torments me. What is yourself, as far as you are all concerned? And Hut! This great one, the one who founded Buddhism, is the awakened one. Well now, what is your answer? None other than a bad guy. Right, Sarazawa? Don't ask me. I feel like I've been beating my head on a brick wall over all this stuff. A bad guy, huh? Well, that's true. I think what we are to ourselves is different for each person. But no matter what kind of person you might be, if you deny what you are, that's enough to keep you from moving forward. What is yourself as far as you're all concerned? An irreplaceable treasure, or that which brings about doubt and suffering? I think the correct answer is an irreplaceable treasure, because the person is the person. But the doubt and suffering is also part of the self? I'm gonna go with an irreplaceable treasure. Do you think so? As I thought. But like your name implies, it appears you are still trapped by Maya. By all rights, one should discover the state of anatta by oneself, but I shall extend a helping hand to you. Okay, so now I have to fight the Shakyamuni Buddha. Yeah, I wasn't exactly planning on this, but okay. Okay, I say I wasn't planning on this, but I was prepared for this. Okay, Baofu, you switch to using Seth, please. And we are going to cast Mataru Kaja to boost up our physical attack. And now, I will have Tatsuya do a... No. I'll cast Garudine, I'll switch to Atama, and I'll use Bufudine, and then Katsuya can just do a triple down, and we'll see how much damage we get. Okay, so we said Mataru Kaja, so we now do more physical damage. Okay, yeah, physical damage is definitely going to be the play, I can tell you that. Although at the same time, Katsuya does just hit like a train because he has, you know, a maxed out stat for it. So that would explain why he does so much damage. But also, I might as well just keep going with it because, hey, you know what? If it works, does it not? Nirvana? That must be, like, his super special move. Like, I imagine that's his unique move that, like, only he has. As because, you know, he is the Shakyamuni Buddha. And, you know, Nirvana and, like, the state of enlightenment and everything. Okay, well, cool, we won. That was very easy. Although, to be fair, that is an enemy that I think Sakya is something that's supposed to be, like, level 30 or 40. So we get 50 moon cards. And the trapezohedron of perseverance. And we leave the tower of perseverance behind. Okay, so I'm going to save and end off today's episode here. So, in the next episode, I'm going to try to get the next 4, and then probably the final 4 in the episode after that. I think that's going to be my general approach for this. So that way I'll be able to finish this bit on Wednesday, and then on Friday we can go back into the Monad Mandala and fight Nyarlathotep and finish off the game. So that way I'll be able to finish off the game and the series on a Friday episode. So, I'm going to end off today's episode here. As always, feel free to leave a comment or click any buttons down below if you feel so inclined. And I will hopefully see you all on Monday as we continue to make our way through the Kadath Mandala and try to collect more of the trapezohedrons that make up Shiori. Okay, thanks for watching. Later.